Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am Edwin, the Pretty Green Vinyl Guy, and here I am with another video. So today I'm going to do my first ever ranking video, and of course I'm going to go with the big guys themselves, the Beatles. Now, I've been a Beatles fan since my childhood. You know, my father was a big Beatles fan, grew up with the records, you know, played his records to death, and went, you know, and then CDs came out, and I had all the CDs, and I think actually the White Album might have been the first CD I ever bought. That could be a clue for the ranking. I'm going to rank them from 12 to 1. I'm going to, however, remove Yellow Submarine, and I'm going to add Magical Mystery Tour, which I think we would all agree would be the 12 albums. So I'm going with more or less the UK releases. I love all of these albums. I'm basing this ranking on what I'm most likely to grab and listen to. And I know there's been, you know, many videos made of Beatles ranking, but I want my own historical content to show what I chose as my favorite Beatles albums from today, 2025. So here we go. In 12th place, we're going to go with the 4th album, Beatles for Sale, with its amazing front cover. Now, this album, you know, and again, people are going to like this higher, lower. Well, it can't be lower. Higher for sure. The reason why I don't like this album as much, I felt with the third release, A Hard Day's Night, they got into all of their original material. And I felt this was a little bit of a step backwards. And mostly because these classic rock and roll songs from the 50s, I get a little bored with, like Kansas City and Everybody's Trying to Be My Baby and rock and roll music. I mean, they do amazing renditions of the songs, but yeah, I'm just not likely to grab it. So for me, ranking wise, this would be the 12th from 12 to 1, Beatles for Sale. Number 11, I'm going to go with the Beatles, the second release, again, with an amazing album cover. I mean, these guys not only made great music, but they got to have 10 of the best album covers of all time. Didn't help that they were photogenic, right? Yeah, with the Beatles, it's not as strong as the debut. Again, it's got a lot of those kind of 50 songs that I'm a little over and done with. You know, this did include All My Lovin' was probably one of the first Lennon-McCartney really, you know, tight songs that they did. But yeah, a lot of, you know, Roll Over Beethoven, Money. Actually, the Harrison Don't Bother Me, that's a very good early Harrison song. But anyway, with the Beatles would be my number 11 choice. Number 10, I'm going with the debut. I'm going with Please Please Me. What a debut. I mean, these four lads from Liverpool came out of nowhere. I'm a huge I Saw Her Standing There fan. I'm a huge Love Me Do fan. And Do You Want to Know a Secret, I think, is great. And of course, the amazing Twist and Shout. I do grab this record periodically from time to time. I am one of those people that the later catalog does seem to suit me better. So in number 9 spot, we have the Beatles' Help, which was their second soundtrack album. The album starts off amazingly strong with Lennon's song Help. And I Love You've Got to Hide Your Love Away. And You're Gonna Lose That Girl. And of course, Ticket to Ride. I mean, side 1 is pretty awesome. And yeah, what else can I say? Again, you know, I'm not likely to pull the album as much, but I do like the songwriting depth a little better than Please Please Me. At number 8, we've got Let It Be. And, you know, for many years, I ignored this album, I'll be honest. I mean, you know, I had the Blue album comp, and of course, the kind of highlights of this album are on the comp. I will say, watching the Get Back documentary that came out, it kind of reawakened this album to me. And it is a very, very good album, and I really got into listening to it after the documentary came out. Watched it a lot. I didn't realize Two of Us, Dig a Pony, I Me Mine were as great songs as they really are. Because, of course, we focus on Let It Be, Across the Universe, The Long and Winding Road. They were kind of, and of course, Get Back. And, but yeah, I mean, a stellar album. And, they really got back to their rock roots and brilliant. Next, we have Magical Mystery Tour. I mean, on the basis of Strawberry Fields Forever and Penny Lane, you can't go wrong. I mean, they're two of the greatest written songs of all time. And, you add them into Baby You're a Rich Man, All You Need Is Love, Hello, Goodbye. Again, a very strong showing, an album that I do tend, Blue Jay Way, really was when Harrison was really hitting it on all parts, right? And of course, I Am the Walrus, which is, probably one of my favorite Beatles songs of all times. So, Magical Mystery Tour. Next, I'm going to go with A Hard Day's Night, which was the third album, the first soundtrack they did. And I think they killed it on this album. I love the music on this album. I think it defines a genre. And it's such a great album and a great little movie to boot. And I watched it with my daughter over Christmas. She had never seen it. And, that striking chord from the beginning of A Hard Day's Night, I should have known better, If I Fell, and I Love Her, Tell Me Why, Can't Buy Me Love. I mean, the A side again is just fantastic. And I love My Hard Day's Night. That's number 6, I believe. Is that right? 3, 2. Yeah, number 6. At number 5, we have Rubber Soul. When I was in high school and really doing my deep dive into the Beatles, so really moving beyond the Red and the Blue comp album and maybe Sgt. Pepper's, because that was my father's favorite album, I really did a dig dive into Rubber Soul. And this really became high on my playlist all the time. And again, this is really where the songwriting goes really deep, particularly with John. In My Life, Girl, Norwegian Wood. I mean, three amazing songs that are the John contributions to the album. And of course, Drive My Car, Nowhere Man, Michelle. And then I love the final Run for Your Life. So what a brilliant album. I listen to it often. It never gets old and brilliant. Number 4, and this got hard, man. These top 4, I mean, God, you'd be happy to make one of these albums. I'd be happy to make Beatles for Sale. Anyway, Revolver, what can I say? A masterpiece. Listen to it all the time. Unfortunately, it has Yellow Submarine on it. It's like most great albums, there's always one song that kind of throws you. But, starting with the amazing Taxman, George Harrison, he was really starting to grow and show his chops. The amazing Eleanor Rigby, one of my favorite songs of all time. Here, There, and Everywhere, She Said, She Said. And then for me, side 2 is really the banger, right? Good Day Sunshine, and Your Bird Can Sing, For No One, Dr. Robert, which is a great, hidden B-side. I Want to Tell You, Got to Get You Into My Life, and of course, the groundbreaking Tomorrow Never Knows. I mean, what an album. The Klaus Vormann artwork. Just an amazing time, and man, I love this album. Okay, into the top 3. Now, I'd mentioned that this was my father's favorite album. This, of course, is Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. This could be a bit of a nostalgic pick over Revolver, but I am going to go with Sgt. Pepper's, mostly because A Day in the Life is probably my number 1 Beatles song. And of course, that's the track that closes the album. I never get tired of either side of this album, even the you know, the slightly lesser known songs. I'm not going to say throwaway songs, but like She's Leaving Home, Fixing a Hole, Lovely Rita, Good Morning, When I'm 64. I don't get tired of those songs. I think the smartness of the lyrics is amazing, and it just keeps you going. And of course, this is why we love vinyl, right? The lyrics, the inner, one of the greatest front covers of all time, and it's just something you can cherish. So my number 3, I'm going with Sgt. Pepper's. Number 2, I'm going with the White Album. What an album. I mean, I got so heavy into this. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, this was the first album I bought on CD. And it was groundbreaking. It just took you on a journey. I wanted to be in the 60s in high school when I listened to this, and we would have, my friends and I would get together and we'd try and figure out these on acoustic guitar and all sing off the top of our heads. And it's just such an amazing album. And, we were like mesmerized by And the Walrus Was Paul and things like that. They threw out those little, secrets that we were all learning. But my goodness, and people criticize some of the songs on this, like The Continuing Story of Bungalow Bill, Happiness is a Warm Gun, Why Don't We Do It in the Road? I love those songs. They do not offend me. I love them. I think they're cheeky and they're just so well compromised. I even like Obla Di Obla Da. I get it, Anyway, of course, the standouts are Back in the USSR, Dear Prudence, Glass Onion, While My Guitar Gently Weeps, and then later on we have Helter Skelter, Revolution, Savoy Truffle. I mean, George really, really took off on the White Album, didn't he? Anyway, the White Album would be my number 2. And my number 1 is Abbey Road. It is the one I pull the most to listen to. It's flawless. I even like Octopus's Garden. And it's just a journey. It's just an amazing story. Of course, the incredible medley that takes you through side 2, the amazing Harrison song, Something, Here Comes the Sun. I mean, he stole the show at this point. And, what can you say? And again, people get a little out of joint with Maxwell Silverhammer. I love I Want You. I just love that searing, heavy, people call the Beatles a pop rock band, but man, they could rock when they wanted to. Anyway, that's my number 1 pick, Abbey Road. And that is my top 12 ranking of the Beatles studio albums, including Magical Mystery Tour, minus Yellow Submarine. Give me your comments below. What's your order? I would love to hear your feedback. Thanks, everybody.